Hello and welcome to this presentation. My name is Dean Hill and I'm a postgraduate researcher in the Department of English Literature at the University of Birmingham. My presentation is entitled Virtual Hauntings, Reviving Dickensian Deaths Through VR and AI. Now, imagine stepping into a Dickens novel and witnessing its ghosts firsthand. Charles Dickens was famously fascinated by the supernatural, the interspersed but unmistakable presence of ghosts and goblins. The grotesque, the eerie, the uncanny fill his works. Victorians loved ghost stories and spiritualism, and Dickens himself wrote many, from A Christmas Carol's spectral visitors to the lesser-known The Haunted Man. Today, new technologies let us actually experience Dickensian hauntings. Virtual reality, VR, and artificial intelligence, AI, are bringing Dickens's phantoms into interactive life. In these next few minutes, we'll explore how cutting-edge VR performances, apps, and AI dialogues are reinterpreting Dickens's visions of death and the supernatural, and what this means for our own age. So let's begin then with immersive VR theatre, reimagining Dickens. Modern VR productions place audiences inside Dickens's stories. For example, Agile Lens's A Christmas Carol, VR, is a live, real-time immersive theatre adaptation of Dickens's classic, performed entirely in virtual reality. Audiences don headsets like MetaQuest and watch as actors embody Scrooge and the three spirits in a haunted dreamscape of foggy Victorian streets. Agile Lens began collaborating with Actors Theatre of Louisville in 2021, creating a hybrid production and R&D lab called Scrooge's Ghost Encounter. In that lab show, actor Ari Tarr as Scrooge delivered a live Dickensian recital, while mocap technology animated its ghostly surroundings. By 2022 to 23, A Christmas Carol VR had evolved to a fully lived VR performance. Veteran actors Scrooge and the Spirits used advanced motion capture suits, even Sony's new Mocopi tracker, to puppeteer their digital avatars in real time. The effect is uncanny. The system syncs actor and avatar motion in real time, making Scrooge's movements and voice seem inside your virtual world. In short, audiences enter the Dickensian story, exploring cobbled 1840s London streets and interacting with spectral figures. One early participant described Chains, a Victorian nightmare, a related mixed reality Carol adaptation, as a dark and beautiful fever dream, where the viewer can even converse with the ghosts. Other VR adaptations use similar ideas. For example, Actors Theatre's 2021 lab production Scrooge's Ghost Encounter with Agile Lens combined live recitation and VR. It projected a haunted dreamscape filled with phantom spirits and spectres, letting the lone viewer look around and even interact via Oculus Quest. MWM Immersive's Chained, a Victorian Nightmare, did something related. One audience member at a time wears a VR headset inside a Victorian set and walks through his own visions of Christmas past, present and future. Reviewers noted that Chained blended live acting and VR into a personalised reimagining of A Christmas Carol, so that you literally feel as if you have walked into 19th century London and into Dickens's book. In these productions, VR technology, headsets, Unreal Engine environments, live motion capture, serves to make Dickens's ghosts and deathly themes vividly real. Moving on to community VR and virtual tours. It's not just professional theatres. Virtual Dickens experiences are spreading to new audiences. For example, the Thrive Pavilion is a 3D social VR community for seniors, and their Thrive Players staged A Christmas Carol adaptation entirely in VR. In December 2024, they performed a 1.5 hour live VR play of A Christmas Carol, where members of the Thrive Pavilion, a vibrant senior community in virtual reality, play characters for a global online audience. The game engine, live avatars and 3D set all immersive participants in the Victorian story, illustrating how accessible VR theatre can engage non-traditional performers and audiences alike. Meanwhile, educators use VR to explore Dickens in schools. Class VR, a VR learning platform, has released interactive Dickens scenes, workhouses, foggy London, etc. from novels like Oliver Twist and Great Expectations. Students can delve deep into those worlds by literally walking around them in VR. By inhabiting Oliver's workhouse or Pip's London, learners gain emotional insight into Dickensian poverty and death in ways a textbook never could. Even standard video calls are used to tour Dickens's London. In 2020 to 21, to mark the 150th anniversary of Dickens's death, historian Richard Jones led a virtual London tour on Zoom. The tour followed Dickens's life through the city, from his impoverished childhood to his adult literary success. Attendees were not confined to any one part of London, thanks to this VR streaming approach. As the brochure explains, technology has come to the rescue, and thanks to the magic of Zoom, the tour will go ahead as a virtual tour, taking people through Dickensian landmarks via HD video. Such virtual tours show how even simple tech can transport us to Dickens's world, blurring past and present. Immersive audio and augmented reality. Another branch of AR and VR technology is audio immersion. The Immersive Dickens project, a collaboration between the V&A Museum, theatre makers Punchdrunk, and creative tech studio The Workers, created what it called augmented reality for your ears. In 2018, they gave museum visitors special headphone guides that suddenly transformed. Instead of a dry tour, the headphones played new soundscapes. As you walked around, you'd hear Charles Dickens whispering in your ear, footsteps nearby, church bells tolling, all as if you had truly stepped into that environment. In short, you heard ghosts and Victorian life as you moved through space. By tracking the listener's location, Immersive Dickens created a 3D sound world. Move left and a voice follows you there. The team even called it an audio tour that gets suddenly hijacked by Charles Dickens himself, leading students into an otherworldly parallel London. This augmented reality for your ears made Dickens's presence vividly real without any visuals at all. Projects like this show how haunting audiences can be as simple as ghostly sound, emphasising how Dickens's written ghosts can speak back to us in unexpected ways. Now, alongside VR, artificial intelligence is bringing Dickens's characters to life through conversation. For instance, generative AI chatbots now let people talk with the digital Charles Dickens or his characters. Services like character.ai allow users to interact with historical figures. One writer recounts creating a free account at Character AI and chatting with a simulated Charles Dickens, who replied in character as if he were the Victorian author. The responses may only be approximations, but the effect is startlingly intimate. You can ask Dickens his favourite novel, and the AI Dickens answers in first person. In VR theatre, AI takes the form of interactive hosts or guided agents. In Agile Lenses, A Christmas Carol VR, the 2023 production introduced an AI-powered Dickens virtual house manager to read audiences before the show. So instead of a pre-recorded narrator, an AI character could speak about this holiday season's tradition, making each session feel personalised. These AI features deepen the thematic engagement. Consider Scrooge's own journey. In Dickens's tale, the ghosts speak with him directly, forcing him to confront death and regret. With AI and VR, we can be on the receiving end of that dialogue. Some VR shows let you actually converse with a ghostly guide, merging the old medium of theatre with new AI dialogue. Others simulate the uncanny intimacy of Victorian seances or letters from beyond the grave. Even without actors, AI chatbots create a form of digital seance, letting us pose questions to Dickens or his characters. All of this heightens the emotional impact when a virtual ghost of Christmas past answers you, or an AI Dickens pen pal responds to your questions. The Victorian fear of what comes after death becomes a personal, interactive experience. By now, it's clear that VR and AI are more than mere novelties. They are reshaping how we think about death, ghosts and Dickens. In Victorian times, people gazed at mediums, spiritualist seances and Gothic tales to process mortality. Today, we experiment with digital afterlives. Researchers even warn of unwanted digital hauntings, as AI can simulate the dead. In a way, VR ghosts and AI chatbots are the spiritual successors to Victorian ghost stories. They let us confront Dickensian ideas of death with new eyes and ears, walking Victorian streets at midnight or hearing spectral whispers via a headset. What does this mean for Dickens's legacy? First, these projects introduce Dickens to people who might never pick up a 19th century novel. Someone tuning into a Thrive Pavilion VR play, or a student in a VR Dickensian workhouse, or a gamer trained chained, becomes curious. Who was this Dickens? The technology sparks renewed interest in his stories and the era they depict. Second, the thematic core of Dickens's work is preserved. By actively engaging with ghosts and death, audiences can experience the same emotional journey Scrooge had, from fear and remorse to empathy and redemption. In this way, high-tech hauntings amplify Dickens's message that even across centuries, confronting the spectre of our past selves can lead to personal transformation. So in short, these VR and AR experiences have conjured a bridge between Victorian and modern minds. The past century's ghostly tales now live in pixels and code, but they serve the same purpose: to make us reflect on humanity, mortality and compassion. As one creator put it, combining VR and live theatre lets the audience see, converse with and even touch the impossible, turning Dickens's philosophy of death into an immersive reality. By reimagining Dickens's spectral worlds with cutting-edge tech, innovators are ensuring that his stories remain alive, spooky and relevant for generations to come. Thank you for joining this journey through Dickens's digital haunts.